Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Floyd Mayweather is fighting in an exhibition this Sunday against a YouTuber, Deji, I believe his name is. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've not watched much of this Deji. I don't really know much about him apart from his KSI's brother. And I've not watched much content of him, but what I will say is the things that I've seen is he seems like a really good guy. He does. He's not bigging himself up. He's not making it something he's not. He's not pretending he's a professional fighter, right? And I can't sit here and say the guy comes across as a prick. He doesn't, right? He comes across as a nice guy, and fair play to him. Look, he's training. He's never going to compete with pro boxers. He's just not, and he knows that himself. And he's putting the work in, and he's improved. So fair play. I'm not going to shoot him down. For me, Floyd is going to find it extremely hard to make this fight competitive. Right, he is. Because the other exhibitions, take away Logan Paul, were still against fighters. Okay, MMA fighters and kickboxers in Japan, but they were still fighters. Logan Paul was a big man, right? So the size advantage was a little bit of an issue for Floyd. Right, he comfortably won the fight. He didn't get out of first gear, but Logan Paul is a big bloke. And Floyd is a small bloke, so it was a little bit of an issue for him. But this guy Deji is smaller than him, and I don't see how he makes it competitive. For me, he's going to have to just jab to the body, right? And I would be disappointed with Floyd if he looked to take this guy out, because I think I don't think that's right. I know he's done that in his fights in Japan, and I think that's because the other fighters were taking a bit of a liberty. They were trying to knock Floyd out. And don't get me wrong, if this guy tries to knock Floyd out, it's not going to end well for him. But I don't really want to see Floyd go out there and take him out. I don't. Everyone knows my thoughts on YouTube boxing, and as I say, I'm coming around to it. My thing is when you mix it with professional boxing, right? Is when they're calling out professional fighters. That's what really annoys me. Right, and it annoys me with the Jake Paul and Tommy Fury thing, because Jake Paul isn't going to beat Tommy Fury. It's as simple as that. He won't even fight Tommy Fury, right? As I say many times, Tommy Fury's not going to be a world-class fighter. He'd smash Jake Paul very, very comfortably within a few rounds or take him out. If it's a legit fight, professional fight over 8 rounds where he's allowed to take him out, right? He will take him out. It's as simple as that. But going back to this on Sunday, you know what? I'm going to contradict myself, but I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy the pay-per-view. It's a Sunday night, right? Tommy Fury's on the card, so I'm going to watch that fight. The guy who he's fighting, Paul Bamber, I've seen nothing of him. I don't expect him to be any good, to be quite honest with you. I think Tommy Fury will beat him up pretty comprehensively. You've got Delphine Persoon on the card, who's one of the best female fighters on the planet. Very avoided. You never hear people mentioning her name. There's a reason for that. They don't want to fight her, right? Because she's dangerous and she can really fight. So I'm looking forward to that. And the spectacle with Floyd. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I watch anything, right? I'm the type of guy, if I see 2 blokes fighting in a pub, I'm going to watch, right? I will literally order anything. I will. And I have slated it previously, this event, but look, it's on a Sunday night, right? There's no other cards on. I don't mind it. It is what it is. It's an exhibition. There's no point me slating it all the time. What's he going to achieve? It's not going to affect anything. And to watch Floyd fight is a blessing for me. He is, because for me, he's the greatest fighter of all time. That's just my opinion, because he's been in my era. Now, don't get me wrong. I know the greats, the Sugar Ray Leonards, Ali's, obviously, Roberto Duran's, Hagler, Hearns, you know. They are greats, but I do find it a little bit hard to relate because they weren't my era. I didn't live and breathe it. It's different. You know, yes, I can watch tapes of them, but I wasn't in it. Do you know what I mean? Where Floyd is my era. I've lived and breathed every second of his rise to the top. And for me, he's just so talented. And just to watch him fight at any capacity is still a blessing, because it's not going to happen for much longer. You know, he's 44. How many of these exhibitions can he do? He'll probably do them for another 5 years, but to watch him fight and to watch him a master of his craft in that ring is a blessing for me. And it's unfortunate he is fighting a random bloke, and people may go, well, yeah, he's got a big following. I don't care. I'm talking about boxing. The guy's a random bloke. He's nothing in boxing terms, you know. Fair play, he's got a big following. I understand that, right? But he's nothing in boxing terms. And it's not great to see Floyd fight someone like that. But look, like I said, this Deji fellow, he's not pretending it's something it's not. right? And he seems like a good guy, and he has improved, but don't get it twisted. Right, he's not going to be able to land a glove on Floyd, and if he does, it's because Floyd will let him. So I expect Floyd Mayweather just to come out and just to. I don't think he'll walk up to him and try and take him out. I think he'll just box him on the outside, make him miss, do a lot of jabs to the body, that stab jab to the body, and he'll do that counter right hand where he rolls back and hits him with the right hand. I expect him to do that, but I don't expect Floyd to go and knock this guy out. I don't expect it. I think the guy will be respectful, and he's not going to be able to touch Floyd. And when he does, Floyd will let him. So it's going to be hard for Floyd to make it competitive. He's going to have to let the bloke hit him, right? Because there's levels in boxing. People say to me, well, Deji's improved. And yeah, he might have done, right? But this is Floyd Mayweather, right? Even at 44, I'm still convinced Floyd can still fight at world level, even in real boxing terms. He's that good. So it is what it is. What can you say? But for my sins, I am going to order it. I am. I know. I'm going to sound like I contradict myself, but look, Sunday night, I don't mind it that much. The Tommy Fury and Jake Paul thing, that's being built up. I don't think that happens. I don't think that fight happens. I don't think Jake Paul can fight a professional boxer like Tommy. Yes, he can fight. He can pluck a professional boxer who's been given a record and shouldn't really be a pro themselves. You can fight someone like that. There are terrible, terrible professional fighters, right? Especially in Mexico and places like that. There are. Right? There's professionals that shouldn't be professionals. They won't get licenses in the UK. But don't get it twisted. Tommy Fury will absolutely beat up Jake Paul, right? There's certain things that Jake does, right, that he can get away with against MMA fighters, right? He makes very, very basic mistakes, right? A 48-year-old Anderson Silva isn't going to capitalise on that, right? He's not. Jake, just things like not bringing your guard back to your face and foot movement and in and out of range. And when you're throwing shots, Jake falls in with his shots. He throws the overhand right, and he throws it pretty well, to be fair, but he does fall in with the shots. And when you're falling into a shot against a professional fighter who's competent like Tommy Fury, okay, he's not going to be a world champion. I'm not saying he is, right? But any competent boxer, whether it's central area level, southern area level, British title level, they're going to see his flaws, Jake Paul, right? And when he comes in and he lets his combinations off, when you're doing it against MMA fighters who have a grappling background, who are 48 years of age or 47, right? When you throw your shots and you're falling in, they're not going to capitalise on it, right? A competent boxer will stand back, right? Let you fall in, whip an uppercut, left hook, move to the side or roll under and bang, hit you with a left hook. That's what they'll do. And it's easy pickings, right? Yes, Jake Paul has improved for a YouTuber, but he still makes a tremendous amount of mistakes where if he was to fight any type of competent boxer, he will get brutally taken out. Brutally taken out, I'm telling you, right? There's a fighter called Mickey Ellison from Bolton. I've spoken to him a few times. He's a Central Area champion, I believe, right? He fought a few weeks ago on his own. Now, this is not someone who's going to be a world champion, right? This is someone who's at Central Area level. And do you know what he would do to Jake Paul? He would absolutely decapitate him. He would. He'd literally just walk up to him, pin him against the ropes, let his hands go and brutally stop him. That's what would happen. So people are really getting confused with the levels involved in boxing. And you won't see Jake Paul fight a competent professional boxer. You won't see it because what is he learning by fighting MMA fighters? What's he learning? For me, your bad habits are just coming out to play. Everyone can see it, right? If you really understand boxing, you can see the bad habits. They're a mile away. You can see him a mile away. You can see his shots coming. You can see what he's going to do. He literally holds his hands like this, right? Against non-boxers, you can get away with it. You can. Now, fair play to competing with MMA fighters. Look, they still box, right? It's not like they can't throw punches. They can. But when you have a grappling background, again, you're not going to think like a boxer. You don't even stand like a boxer. They stand square on. You don't even stand to the side, you know? He can get away with his mistakes against MMA fighters. If he was going to have any type of professional boxing career, he would fight professional boxers. Okay, it might not be pay-per-view, but he's got money, he's good. You know, this is not a guy who's struggling to pay his gym fees or having to have 2 jobs to pay for his trainer. You know, this is someone who's got big backing, he's got a lot of money, right? So he can go in a professional gym, right, and learn the game, and he could fight 6 times a year, 4-rounders, 6-rounders, 8-rounders, 10-rounders, right? And he can build himself up. He can. The fact he's not doing that tells me he has no interest in the professional boxing career. He's not. Right, that is evident. It's very evident to see. So he'll just fight MMA fighters with big names, and look, it's still hard to do that. I give him respect for doing it, right? But I don't believe he fights Tommy Fury. I don't believe that will happen, and I don't believe you see him fight a competent boxer, professional boxer. I think it's MMA fighters like Nate Diaz, and I think it ends with a KSI fight, and it'll end like that. That's what I think will happen. Let me know your thoughts, though. Are you going to order the pay-per-view on Sunday, the Mayweather and Deji one? Are you going to watch it? What do you think about it? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.